just love that beat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
It's very, very catchy.
Thank
Whoever
you.
did it,
Are we live or are we Memorex?
IMAX.
Okay, that too.
All right. Upgraded for tonight.
Yeah, this may be a little bit of Pixar. We'll see.
Well, hi, kiddies. Well, you
Hello,
up
everybody.
there.
Thank you for showing up again for the Nocturnal Feeding Show. This is just where we hang out to talk about fish and whatever else comes up. I want to thank Paulie for being here. Also, Ed and TJ Autocross for the first time being on my channel. I will have him again.
Would love it.
That'd be awesome. Let's see here. We're going to say some hellos. We got Richard Reynolds. I got a trick that Ed didn't know about yet.
Hi,
We
Richard.
got Linda Worth. We got Betta, Guppy Gal, a.k.a. Patty. Kaylish to Amish. We got Chris Aquazone. I'm waiting for her to say something since I did it that way. We got Adam Mick Reynolds. Hello, and I will send that out tomorrow. I did not forget. We got Jeff Kane. We got Liquids Only Finn. We got Mexicali. Wow. Talk about one of the almost southern westest parts of the United States is where he's from. I guess that'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't that be called the dirty south of the West?
What's that?
Where Mexicali is, close to the border. Dennis Christensen. Nathan Hovey. Oh, hello, Luke. Nice to see you, bud. I need to send you a message. I've been busy myself, brother. I know how it is. Let's see. It jumped on me. We got Vanoski. Hey, Plushy, how you doing? Benjamin Peters. Only Oscars. Fish Fam Dunkley. Lifetime Aquatics. Jennifer Weaver. Night Owl Aquatics. George RB3. I'm at the
Funny
bottom.
man.
I'm at the bottom. Finally. Good. Let's see here. Anything interesting happened this week with the fish rooms? No. Mine's been doing pretty good. I think I'm going to have some babies from the Cuban Metallics and some good days soon.
Nice. Oh, I'm getting some good days too. At the end of the month from
I'm getting rid
Richard
of a bunch
Broomer. Kenny.
Which ones you getting?
I forgot their name, but they're a really neat one. I've only seen them in his fish room. They're like a white pearl, and then behind the white pearl scales is like a pink skin. They're really a neat Goodayid. I'm not for sure what they're called. I'll have to
Are you sure you didn't
look it
Photoshop
up.
them?
I've seen them in person in his fish room. I did a short on them, but that was 2 Julys ago when I was in his fish room.
Uh-huh.
But he's going to be at the Knoxville swap on the 28th, and I'm going to be there, and I'm hoping that John from Select Pet will share a table with me.
Oh, that'd be cool.
John's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Got to see him again. It was nice seeing him.
Yeah, I met him for the first time here at the Clash. It was great. Talked to him, talked to his girlfriend. Both great people.
Oh, yeah, she's nice.
Marcia, I think is her name.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's Oinky.
Oh, brother Dan just joined us.
And
Dan.
Actually, I did get something new this week. Since the last time we were on here. I got some rabbit snails.
Oh.
And one thing that what I did was I put them with my shrimp because I use the KHGH for my water. And they're doing well. And the person I got them off of, people is the Garden of Eden.
Oh,
They had them at the Clash, and I wanted, I really liked the orange ones, and I was going to buy both bags of them. They were small, babies, or well, I guess maybe juvies. I don't know what them types of you know things with shells. I don't know how they classify them, but I went back to the table and they didn't have any left. I was like, man. So they were kind enough. Whenever they got back, they sent me one. They sent me some. They
oh
sent
wow.
they sent me the orange ones that they had, and also some yellow ones. Right now, I have them all in the same tank for now until I figure out, because I'm going to separate them. And they're doing awesome. There's some great snails I got from them, and I also got some Christmas moss off of them. Big shout out to them for sending me some stuff. It's pretty neat of them. Awesome people. If you haven't met
Yeah,
them,
Now,
which we all have here, and you have it in chat, they are great people. They are awesome.
Mhm.
And they got a good business too. If you want some shrimp, I mean, if they don't have it, I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to be really surprised, especially when you got 480 fish tanks that have shrimp in it. So,
yep.
just saying. Like,
Dude,
wow.
I've got some shrimp in my 125. I got them. They're really low grade shrimp. I got it at one of the local fish stores here about 5 years ago when I first moved here, and I've never done any calls on them at all. They are literally turning dark brown like chocolate. I thought I had like not dragonflies, the damselflies in my tank for a minute there. They were that dark. It was so creepy.
Now, is that them converting to like a more natural color?
Yeah, but I didn't realize.
Green?
I thought they turned more of a light brown or a clear for the natural colors, but these ones are actually turning like dark chocolate brown. It's gross.
And so obviously something in your tank is got that color's dominant in them.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's shrimp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be turning that color. So somewhere along the line in the line that you have of shrimp, they have a gene in there that's for color that's dark brown, and across the generations, it's starting to be favored, and that's why it's showing up. That would be the only reason they're turning that color. If it wasn't there, if it wasn't in their genes, they wouldn't have it.
Well, when I bought them, they were so small they were almost invisible. They were so small. I bought 6 of them, and he said that they were blues. And when they got older, they turned out to be reds. But yeah,
That's
who
cool.
cares? I've given them away to people. I mean, I probably have 500 of them in there.
Oh,
Maybe 1,000. I don't know. There's a lot.
that's some free fish food. Same.
Oh yeah, that was why I put them in there. Was just to help feed the fry.
I have gotten some natural colored shrimp off of Skull Aquatics. They're like they're brown, but it's like it's light, and there's some clear at the bottom. They're cool. I love them. I'm glad I got them off of them. I really like them.
They're a neocaridina, Skip.
Yes.
So like a cherry shrimp, but just a different color morph. Okay.
Yeah, just natural.
Yep.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought about taking these brown because they're neos, taking like the 5 biggest brown ones out and just trying to breed just browns, out of them and see what happens. Because Grant's always begging me to bring shrimp to the aquashellas. Well, I could bring 4 ugly brown ones with black heads.
Hey, that's a good excuse for you to start your own bowl.
I know.
There you go.
You start your own bowl and then just let them have it.
Yeah.
Yes, true. We have a fish question. I'm really interested into this question. It's from Lifetime Aquatics. Do you guys know how to crossbreed Corydorus? The reason why they're asking is that Daniken made a comment is why would you want to crossbreed them? Which, yeah, I get that. But Lifetime Aquatics also says they like to make their black Venezuelan Corydorus, which are black Schultz eyes, with high fin. I just think they would look amazing with high fins. Yes, they would. Now, if I was to do that, I would. So, there's not all Corydorus will crossbreed. If they're in the same genus, they will. Like your Reds, Venezuelans,
Aeneas.
your Aeneases, your lasers, which is pretty much an Aeneas, they will crossbreed. Now, I have some red Venezuelans in this tank over here, and one of them is dark to where it's almost like it's black. I feel like they came from an Aeneas, or a Venezuelan, I'm sorry. But they reclassified them, I think, because of the coloration. Now, I have seen hyphen Venezuelans before. Wait, no, I haven't. So that's a good one. You got hyphen Aeneas, you got hyphen Paleotis. I have not seen them in Venezuelans, but if you could find a variation of them in a Venezuelan, I would try it that way.
Yeah, they're not going to. The high fin is, again, it's a genetic thing. It's not something that, you're going to take two different species and mix them together to get the high fin. That's genetic. It's strictly in the gene, somewhere in there. It's just like the color in the shrimp. If the gene is there, eventually it'll get expressed. So what you need to do is get that high fin, is start picking quarries that have a longer dorsal fin. So if they've got a higher dorsal fin, you start picking those out. Eventually, you're going to get a real high fin, because you just keep picking the ones with the tallest dorsal fin, and eventually you'll get a high fin.
Well, and then the problem is you're going to be working with one group, so you're going to have a lot of inbreeding too.
Yep.
You're definitely going to want to introduce some new blood in. Still, it's going to be a long process, I believe. Cora Works, Travis Myers, and Fish Dreams. Nice seeing you.
Talking about quarries, I've been having a problem in my one tank. That both of the Megaflex.
Really?
All of a sudden, they've just been dying. Everything else in the tank is fine. I've been finding dead quarries. So I don't know what's going on. I've seen they've got a little bruise underneath their dorsal fin on some of them, not all of them. I know food's getting down to the bottom because I'm putting sinking wafers in the tank. Because the tetras can be a little bit food hogs. So if I put any flake in the just flake, so I have to put sinking pellets in there. It's not all of them. I still have about a half a dozen in there, but I'm just finding these random dead quarries.
How long have you had them?
The quarries? Well, I've had the Similis. I've probably had over a year. I had them in my quarantine tank forever, and then I put them in when I set up the Megaflex. I pulled them out of quarantine and put them in there. I mean, as soon as I put them in the Megaflex, they started breeding. So I mean, it's only since I came back from the clash they started crapping out, and I haven't put anything new in there.
And it's only the Similis, or you got a mixture of them?
Well, I put Similis. There was Similis in there, and they started dying. So I said, I don't know, maybe it's a Similis. So I went to my LFS. They had some Elizabeth quarries. I put a few of them in, I put 5. 2 of them are dead already.
So what other fish are in the tank? Just the tetras.
Tetras in my there's some pseudomagills, the tetras, there's ottos, and there's the apistos. But the apistos are too small to do any damage. Those are they're basically maybe an inch long. They're they're adolescents at best. I mean, they're just starting to show color.
Well, do they the other fish, the tetras, the apistos, and the other one, they look fine.
Fine. It's just the cories. Everything else is fine. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna leave it alone for a while. The cories that are in there, they're in there. I'm just gonna maybe there's just something going through that tank that was knocking off cories, but nothing else it's not affecting anything else.
Like it's hovering on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like it's sitting there. So I'm just, I did a big water change yesterday, and I'm going to see if it clears it up. But it's just kind of like it. Just I'll see them like what was it Monday? They were all the cories where they're sitting there. They're all bundled up. They were swimming with each other all over the tank. Next day, I found 2 dead.
I've had that happen to where all the other fish were fine and the cories were done. I've had that happen before.
I've had that happen. I've had that happen. So like I had pseudomagills. All the other fish, no problem. The pseudomagills all of a sudden would end up just sort of they'd get like visibly sick, and they'd end up dying, and everybody else was fine. Yeah, so it's weird.
Well,
I don't understand.
Yeah, the thing with pseudomagills, they're only good for about a year and a half, 2 years. They don't have a really long life expectancy, so that might be it. You might have gotten older ones, but I mean, these were healthy cories. They were breeding in the tank, and then I got home from the clash, and they just started crapping out. But it's not all of them. If it was all of them, I think it would be there's a disease in the tank. But there's other ones that are still sitting there swimming around like nothing's happened. So
maybe an irritant. What
So
it would be, I don't know though.
What else is in that tank? Like plant substrate.
Oh, it's all plant. Yeah, I mean it's planted. There's that the same gravel that they were. I use basically the same gravel in all my tanks. It's that stuff I pick. It's from New Zealand. It's a very fine gravel. They were breeding in the quarantine tank, and then like I said, I put them into the new tank, and they were breeding. And the only thing that is different in that tank is I put the Echo Complete substrate in there, and it's bagged and it's underneath the gravel. So
they do like to dig a lot. They could,
it's like I said, there's nothing. I mean, there's a good 1.5 inches of gravel sitting on top of the Echo Complete, and there's plants all over the place. So there's really it's not like it's a thin layer. I put in 30 pounds of gravel in that tank.
It could have been one of them things that in a couple of days in the quarantine tank, it could have started happening.
Yeah, I don't know. So because the Similis were actually in that quarantine tank by themselves for probably 8 months. I really hadn't put anything. I didn't need to quarantine anything for a while. So when I got the Gudeids, I had empty tanks, so I put them right in the empty tanks. I didn't bother. They with sticking them in the quarantine tank. So I don't know. It'll probably sort itself out. This happened to me once before, about right before COVID started. One tank, the cories kept dying. I mean, and there was no rhyme or reason. They're fine one day, and the next day I'm finding them dead. So what I did is I just left the tank without cories for about a month and tried it again, and it's been fine. So
It could, I mean, Richard made a pretty good comment about internal parasites. Could have just something just happened.
yeah.
Something carried in on a plant of food, and they're always digging in that substrate, so they're
Yeah.
gonna pick stuff up.
So I'm hesitant to treat the tank. I don't like treating healthy fish, and trying to dig out those cories in a planted tank. I'd have to tear the whole thing apart.
Mm-hmm.
So so far, no casualties the last day, but it was just kind of like all of a sudden I just started losing them.
So, Patty saying that you mentioned the source. She remembers Brienne having that situation with her quarries.
Yeah, it was a bruise by a couple of them, not all of them. A couple of them had a bruise up by their dorsal fin. I don't know. It's kind of like it just happened. There's nothing, and it's only on a couple of them. Some of the other ones looked like they just fell asleep. They looked perfectly healthy. Their fins were fine. They still had color on them. It's just they dead. So I think I'm just going to sit there and not put any replacements in there and see what happens with the ones that are still left.
Yeah. Man.
But otherwise, I'm getting rid of a lot of good days this weekend. That's all I know. We're having our the Raleigh Aquarium Society's having their meeting this Saturday, so we're going. Nancy and I are going up to Raleigh, and I'm going to be getting rid of a couple of bags of those Doubter eyes because that tank is a 20 long. Skull sent me, I think, 6 or 8 of them. There's over 50 in there now.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, they're just breeding like crazy. I told you what I do is I leave I float Pogastemon octopus. I don't plant it; it's floating. So when the fry are born, they go right up into there, and the parents can't get at them. So they stay there till they're big enough so they can't be made. They can't be lunch. So so I think that's part of my success is just the octopus. I did the same thing in with the tiger limias. Same thing. The fry go up into there, and the parents can't get at them, and they come down once they're big enough so they can't be eaten. Well, that's the other tank I'm going to be, and that's a 10-gallon tank. And there's God knows how many in there, so I got to empty that out. So I'm going up to the auction Saturday with a boatload of Java fern and some other plants, and
That stuff grows like weeds for you, man.
Oh yeah, it's Skip. If I got them outside in a 5-gallon bucket, and it all came out of this discus tank. I haven't touched anything from upstairs. I have Java ferns. If this is the ground, they're up here. That's one.
That's awesome.
They're about that wide.
No CO2, Paul?
No. I don't have everything. I'm in tap water. Everything, and most of my tanks are just gravel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. The only thing I played with some substrate was in the Megaflex. I wanted to see how it works. If it did anything to improve the plant growing. But I'll do it. They get a couple of squirts of Easy Green. If I remember. Other than that, it's just they're living off whatever's in the water. So I clean that thing out. It looks like a different tank.
Yeah.
So it's so I'm going up there with Java fern and some the hell is that other shit? Kabomba. That stuff grows like a weed too. But when it's growing nice, it looks good. And so I got that, some Pogastemon. I don't know. I may even try and take out some more Renubius because that's been growing well for me too.
There must be something in your water because
there's no KH. My water's, it's general hardness is relatively high, and that's because there's iron in my water. So I'm just thinking between the iron and the low KH, the plants are living large. So, because like I said, I really don't go nuts. I don't put tabs in the gravel. Nothing. It's just the way, like I said, if I remember, they get a couple of squirts of Easy Green. If I don't, when I'm doing the water changes, I could go weeks between putting stuff in there. So, but they grow.
Wow.
I keep plants similar to that, but I can't get away without the fertilizer. I have to. They just don't grow. I have to do root tabs for the root feeders, and then the other ones I got to give them. But I have found I can't use a fertilizer that has either nitrates or phosphate in it. There's something, I haven't tested the water, but I would get terrible hair algae. And now that I switched to a liquid fertilizer that doesn't have those two things, it just has kind of the micro and the macro nutrients. Stuff started to grow and the algae's gone. It's receded and gone away.
Yeah, as long as you've got plants that are pulling, that stem plants are going to pull a lot of stuff out of the water column. Because if you notice, once they start getting happy, they start sending out roots from the stems. So they're pulling, they're pulling out a lot more nutrients than like the Java fern or Nubius would, because they just grow so damn fast. So the other thing I have good luck with is Ludwigia, the red, and then what's the one with the thin leaves? It also turns red. I don't know, but it's a common plant. But I have luck with that. The kabamba. So it's also the hell's the other one?
What's the Crip?
No, well, Crips, work. I get the Crips are starting to do well for me, and I think this is all just to do with just fish crap in the gravel. What's the other epiphytic plant with the small leaves?
I can't think. I don't know them off the top of my head. If I seen the picture, okay.
Nano Petite.
No, well that's Nubius. The other one,
Boost.
Boost, yeah. My boost, they're flowering for me.
Really?
I mean, they're in the tank. They're flowering for me.
I love Boost.
So it's, and believe me, I'm not going out of my way to do anything special. It's basically I stick them in the tank, and away they go. They work. They work. Mm-hmm. The other thing that grows crazy for me is dwarf sag. You would think it was a Vallisneria.
Yeah, that can get pretty long.
Yeah. You would think it was Val, and it's not. It's dwarf sag. So, but some of the other stuff I haven't attempted because everybody says they need CO2, and I'm not going there. If I can't grow it in a low tech tank with my budget lights, I'm not doing it. I mean, most of what I got upstairs. I mean, the only thing, the most expensive light I have is on this discus tank. I have two lights. I have an Aqua Sky, and then I have a Finex Stingray. That's it on this because it's wide. It's 2 feet wide, so I need the two lights. But that's it. Everything else is either Higer, Finex, or what is that? ADP or whatever. So that other knockoff brand, Chinese brand. I don't have anything special. The Megaflex that has an Aqua Sky in it, but that came with it. So other than that, everything else is budget.
Stephen P says, "Oh, you can with no cage, you can get away with growing quite a bit without CO2.
The only way I can have fish is I put aragonite in the filters. I mean snails. You put snails. When I first set this tank up, the discus tank, it was like watching Alka-Seltzer. They bubbled when they went down into the water. They died. I mean, they were dead within a half hour after they put them in the water. That's how low.
Whoa!
It is. Wow. They would be dead. So I put aragonite in there, and I've actually got it up to, what is it, about 40 parts per million, which is low. Um, yeah, they now, my water company has gone to RO water. They decided we used to get our water from the Cape Fear River, which I'm surprised I'm not glowing in the dark from drinking that crap. They pulling it up from an aquifer, so they're doing RO and they're remineralizing it. So the water's gotten better, but I still have to even coming out the tap now, my KH is nothing. So the aragonite's what allows me to keep snails. Or I put a piece of limestone in the water. If I have a small hang on the back, I just put a piece of limestone in the water, and that does it as well.
It's funny.
Does anybody know where Adam McReynolds lives? Like, don't give us your address, but what state do you live in?
I checked my email.
Because he said he's lucky to grow anything. And that's a bummer.
He said it took almost a year for his Val to send out one runner.
Man. They must have something really tough in his water.
It must be liquid rock. He's got to have
Illinois.
Real high. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's liquid rock out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of when I lived there was lots of limestone, calcium in it deposit. Like, you had to keep your water level up, because if you didn't, you would have those calcium lines at the top of your tank. It's terrible.
Yeah, my water's acidic. I mean, this tank settles in at 6.2, 6.4. All my tanks are like that. The water's just acidic. Comes out the tap that way and doesn't change much. It sits there.
Mine's pretty neutral. Mine's about 7.1.
Because you would think with no KH, the water would crash. Never had a problem. Never had a problem with the pH crashing. It was just I had to keep snails. I wanted to keep some snails in there for the dreaded blackbeard algae. So I keep nerites. I had to do something with the KH, so I just added the aragonite, and I don't need a lot. It's just enough. It just pushes it up just a little bit, and they're able to survive.
Oinky has a question. Wants to know if any of us ever caught one. No, I never caught one, but kept a peacock eel. I got to look that up. I know I haven't, but I'm very interested in it now. And
they look a lot like the tire tread in the flame eels. They're real flat with a beak.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They're pretty cool.
When I say a beak, kind of a long nose kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know that you can keep them with small fish. That's all. Because they may see them as lunch.
Well, they don't get like a moray eel size.
No, but there's still.
Yeah, no.
Dennis has super soft water also. Sorry,
that's about where my pH is also, Dr. Awesome sent me a gift out of the blue. As I said about wanting to get an RODI unit and wanting to do Caridina shrimp. One night I was sitting here talking with Maria and Steph, because they do a lot of water testing because of some of the plecos they have. And I have very soft water. I pretty much don't need an RODI unit because of our filtration system that we have at our water treatment facility. Pretty much does that for you. Yeah,
I got that one. I won the one at the Clash, and I don't know that I really need it with my water, because it was a nice unit. It was 75 gallons a day.
Well, I mean, another with them, they're going to take some other stuff out that is still in the water, but you know, was probably still would need to do for certain fish. You know, but I don't know. It's just crazy how stuff works with your water. I I
Hmm.
I just get fish that I know that's going to work. Sometimes I get a fish that's a challenge. I started doing the whole ragnite thing, like Paul has when I got the well after I killed my first batch of star sapphire fish because I figured I'll just drip acclimate them. No, it didn't work that way. They still need hard water. Yeah, I just all I do is I just mix the aragonite in the substrate.
Yeah, that's another way to do it.
That way, because I got sponge filters and I don't want a bag sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put it in the canister or in the hang on back. I just put a small bag in there. It's just the water flowing over it. It helps
Yeah.
getting that KH in there. Adam, another good thing for BBA is Gudeids. They love themselves some good old BBA. They stripped the tank down that had some growing all over the rocks in less than a week.
Oh wow.
I mean, clear, nothing left in the tank.
Well, you should have probably gave a crap ton of your Gudeids to
I-
depths on that.
Yes, I know, but then he'd have nothing to complain about. You know, I mean, he takes
Yeah, he
pride.
would.
He takes pride in those Blackbeard algae forests he has in those tanks.
He'd be like, I got too many Gudeids.
Hey, listen, I offered to bring some up with me, and nobody took me up on it. So
I should have. My
yeah,
bad.
I wasn't going to I wasn't going to take them for an 8-hour drive just to turn around and come back for 8 hours if nobody wanted.
Ah.
You know,
Oh, well, you got
Sorry,
it. Right.
Paul.
next time.
Oh,
I'll have
I
to come
really
visit
like
you,
them.
Paul.
But they're great fish. They're great fish, but they, if they're happy, they breed. They're like
Now, what are they?
the Enelteca dowderi. Those are the ones with the blue and red body. So they have the red tail. They're called red-tailed split fins, but the chest area is a blue. Mine tend to be a little darker. The ones that Skull sent me, the blue on the males is darker, and they have a definite red tail. Skipper has some from Skull as well, but he says his are orange.
no, I got mine from Kenny, Danikin Aquatics.
Yeah.
They're young.
Oh,
They're young right now still, so they're not.
I was wondering, it could be the minerals in the water that's changing
I
their
don't,
colors. a little bit.
like I said, and those are supposed to be hard water fish, and they're thriving in my water.
They're beautiful fish.
Oh
They're
my,
great fish.
yeah.
Mhm.
The thing is you really can't. You should keep them species only, or maybe with like some quarries. I actually have some. I had some glow light tetras in the tank that I put them in, and they're swimming around with them fine. It's just they're such.
They definitely. I got them in with Corey's. They kind of nipped their fins for a little bit and stuff because they no longer had some of them don't have their very nice long fins that they had, but the guppies they harass them to where I don't have a crap ton of them.
Yeah, because they're very fast swimmers. Very fast swimmers. But they really should be kept species only.
I just hope they don't. Like I got a pair, and I'd like to see what happens. Like when they get older and they start breeding. Hopefully they don't eat their fry. I mean, I got stuff in there for the fry to hide in, but we got a question in the chat. When is the next fish auction? The second Saturday, which this Saturday is what?
The first.
This Saturday's the 7th,
So, yeah, 7th.
Yes.
and then it'll be on the 14th. Who asked that? Lifetime Aquatics. That's when it'll be.
Mexicali, I keep the Goodeids right now. The tank tops out at about 80. I have a Inkbird on there, so I have a temperature range. It'll drop down to about 76 before the heater kicks back on. But once I think once we get into fall down here, whenever that shows up, I'm pulling the plug on the heater for the winter, and we'll just let them go at room temperature. So it'll drop down to 68 over the winter, and then I'll put the plug back in for the summer.
So
What's
TJ,
that about?
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
what's that about January 15th to February 15th, winter down there?
That's about it.
You get a solid 30
No,
days.
it's 6 weeks. It goes. We start our winter maybe starts around New Year's, and is generally over by Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And that winter is, we're 60 degrees every day.
Yeah.
I mean, most days. I mean, we do have short periods where we'll go down into the 30s, but most of the time I wear shorts and a t-shirt throughout the winter.
Yeah, and the natives think you're crazy.
Who, me?
Well, at least the natives here in Chattanooga, they see me in shorts and a t-shirt
Yeah, I
whenever
get
it's
it.
50 and 40 degrees, and they're like, "What?
My
They
blood
cancel
is never going
school
to
at
thin out
33 degrees."
to where I get cold at that temperature. I worked outside too long. But there's days we go out, New Year's Day, we're sitting on the beach going into the water.
We've had barbecues on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It's so weird to have Christmas Day dinner on the picnic
Outside,
in the backyard.
That's why I moved
So
here. I
strange.
like being outside. I don't want to have to be inside in the winter. It's not my jam. I don't like. I told you, I did my my one backward skiing routine going down Whiteface Mountain, and that was it. I did my James Bond once, and I'm done. That's it. Check that off the bucket list. Don't need to do it again.
TJ,
Paul, you and I are so much alike.
Yeah.
Last time I went skiing, I'm so slow. I just kind of go at this pace, But I keep getting tackled by little kids and little people because they're out of control. So they grab me,
my problem.
and then they tackle me.
Ed, we were drinking adult beverages. I was out with my degenerate friends. We went on a ski trip. So we drank the whole way up, drank the whole time we were there, and then we went skiing. And I did it backwards and lived to tell the tale and laughed the whole way down the slope.
Oh my God, not me.
That's funny.
I was so mad. I went and my sister came late to skiing, and I said, "My ski boots are way too big for my feet. Can I have a size 7 women's?" From my size 12 med, so I traded them in for girl boots so she could go skiing.
Oh, that's messed up. That's funny.
They're like, "You have really small feet." And it's like, "Yeah, I don't want to ski anymore. Give me the little boots."
Patty wants to know do you have any idea what is going to be in the auction?
I'm still working on it.
All right, Patty. Chill out. We'll get you an answer soon.
Yeah.
There'll be
Patty.
There'll be a list whenever I make the stream. We weren't doing it until that night, that evening. I'd throw it in that day. I think it's best to have it there now. Now that I thought about it and I talked to the guys, I think it's best to have it before, so you can advertise, and they could probably tell somebody, "Yo, you're looking for this fish, you're going to have it." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
TJ, what type of fish you keep?
Yeah, so a bunch of different things. So I've got a couple species of Tanganyikan cichlids. So African cichlids. I've got multi-shell dwellers. I've got another species that's called Paracyprochromis. They're a deep water fish. So they're about a 4-inch long fish with these giant eyes, because you figure out they're deep water. It's pretty dark down there. Neat fish. They're like a pinky brown, but the males get these really electric blue streaks to their fins and the lateral line down their body. So the dominant male in the tank is gorgeous.
So,
Uh,
can I
yep.
pause you there for a second?
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
We're saying that deep water fish. What do you have to do to accommodate for that?
Yeah, so not a lot. The only thing that I have noticed is I think they, being a deep water fish, they don't eat from the surface naturally. But if you leave like flake food, and when I first got them, I noticed the flake food hangs out at the top. They're not going to wait, and they go up there, and they don't seem to, for whatever reason, they've never learned to deal with kind of the air bubbles and stuff like that. And so if for some reason the food is up there, you'll notice where they take this weird posture, and it's like they get an air bubble stuck in their throat, and they have to work it out. Thankfully it doesn't seem to harm them, but it's like, what the heck is going on? And they're like you'll see them like they kind of like bobbing around, and all of a sudden you'll see just a bunch of bubbles come flying out, and then they're back to normal.
What were they called?
They're called Paracyprochromis.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna spell that somehow. Private check.
It's all right. I got it.
But
as soon as it pops on here, they're, well, right now I got 75% off of girls stuff.
What are you gonna wear? Something frilly, Ed?
you put that
All
word in there misspelled, and it came up lingerie.
No, it's an ad for to buy dresses and stuff when you go on their website.
Is that
Oh,
them?
that's a
them?
Placidochromis. No, Paracyprochromis. I'll put it in
Hey,
private chat. Cyprochromis.
Hey, that Doc Awesome is in the room.
He came back. He took his medication.
Hey, Doc.
Well, what did you say they looked like?
They're like a long, thin fish with they're like a brownish pink color, and then the males have like a very striking, like an electric blue on the edges of their fins and kind of running down the side of the body.
So what's the last? What was the second part of the name?
Oh, that probably would have helped.
No, just say it, because I think I found it.
Nigripinnis, Nigripinnis.
Oh my, I found him.
Yep.
Just give me a second. Wow, it's interesting. So is that kind of like
How did you get into this strange fish?
So I knew, yes, so that's kind of what they look like.
Neat.
Yeah, so how did I get into them? It was quite by accident. I initially knew I wanted shell dwellers because I kept the brevish shell dwellers when I was a kid, and got back into the hobby, and I was like, I really liked them. I thought they were interesting, so I got some Maltese, and then I was looking for something that I could keep with them in a 40 breeder, and it was suggested by someone who kept a lot of Tanganyikans that these would be a good choice. It turned out they kind of lived okay for a while, but didn't really love each other. And so now I've got them separate so that they're in separate tanks, and they're doing much better that way.
Man, that's a beautiful fish.
They're really pretty.
Do you have a bunch of them?
No, I've only got 4. They've been pretty hard to breed. It's been difficult to get the females because they're a maternal mouth brooder, and the females seem to be like 4 or 5 days in. They either eat or spit out the eggs, and I haven't been able to get them to raise any fry, nor have I collected the eggs to raise them artificially.
Interesting.
So they get to 11 centimeters?
Yeah, like 4.5 inches.
That's a pretty big Shelly.
Oh no, these aren't Shelleys. So these are the Shelleys are the other guys that I had, the Maltese. So they're only the males are probably not quite 2 inches.
Okay. I was just like, I thought these were some deep water type of shell dweller that you
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to
these
get
are like a
into
rock
also.
dweller. These are like a rock
Okay.
dweller. So I keep those. I also have a species of white cloud. It's called the Da Nang white cloud from Vietnam, and picked them up at the fish club at the auction. It's probably a year and a half ago, and they were only described. I think it was in 2019,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I'm trying to continue. I've bred them, and I've got a small group of fry. But then now, after race season finishes up here at the end of the month, I'm gonna start collecting eggs again and try and build up a bunch, and hopefully take some back to the club. And then I had talked to Depths Unknown Jason about if he was interested in some at some point. So if he still is, then give some to him, and hopefully people can continue to keep populating them, because I don't think they have found them in the wild since like 2017, and I'm not sure
Whoa.
scientists know exactly why.
Well, I may talk to you for summer tubbing.
That's where I started them out, was in a summer tub.
That's right where they go. Got a
Mhm.
perfect tub that I used my redfin minnows. It's a white cloud version,
Yep.
and they did great out there. Now
Yep.
I didn't tell this story yet, but my Madaka rice fish I had out there, they all died because I think the frog bit choked them out. I left it go too much, and I never had it before, and I didn't realize all the roots that it does.
Mhm.
I think it choked the fish out.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Very upset about that, but I'll try again. I'll try those again.
Mhm.
The guy got them off of. They're freaking beautiful.
I found
Well,
an awesome thing in my summer tub today. In one of my tubs, I found about a 4-pound dead drowned squirrel.
Mmm. How was that soup?
Oh, Lord.
And it had, I fed him yesterday, so it just drowned today, I think. But it still stunk. It hadn't bloated up, but it was gross, so gross. But it was the first time my water's been low in my tank. So I bet you he's been drinking out of my tank all year with the water at 3 inches. And, I've been letting the water go down because I'm going to harvest probably today or Saturday. So he probably had to stretch 7 inches to get to the water, and I bet it fell in and drowned. I threw it in the woods behind my neighbor's house, so hopefully the dog will get it.
yeah. Here's a
Okay.
snack.
So what are you trying to do? Kill your neighbor's dog?
Well, no,
Right.
eat that thing home. Is that anything else you keep, TJ?
I have a community tank with just sort of angelfish and a bunch of tetras and panda loaches and stuff like that. And then I just got at the Clash my first set of parakillifish.
Ooh.
So
What
I'm
kind?
hoping that I got they are Aphyosemion bivitatum. That's the
So I'm, ass-
two.
I'm assuming they're not annuals.
No, they're a mop spawning non-annual.
That's the ones I get.
Yeah.
For a gearhead, you really say Latin names good.
It's one of my unique capabilities, I guess.
Well, I
Yeah.
wish I had that thing. You should see me trying to pronounce these names, man. My tongue gets all twisted. Wants to go down my throat because it's tired of trying.
Hmm.
Side.
Lots of practice. Lots of practice.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Do you wear a
So
big helmet
You got a
when
question?
you're race car driving?
I do wear a helmet. Yeah. Uh-huh.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, like $400 or something like that. It's just the normal like fiberglass or plastic. I didn't buy a carbon fiber. Those go for $8, $9, $1,200, just depending on what it is.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Winky's got a
I
question
figured.
here about Parasiprochromis. Nothing really difficult about them. They eat pretty much anything. I think the thing is to make sure that you do what you can to kind of give them a little bit of the sinking food so that they don't, because like I said, I think they don't know how to quite deal with it. And I don't think it necessarily has harmed them in any way, but you could tell they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And it's a bubble that they catch in their mouth. So other than that, they're no more difficult than any of my other fish that I keep.
Well, let's put it this way: they have to be smarter than rainbow fish.
Yes, I would say they definitely. Yep, I would say they definitely are. They're plenty smart. It's just it's that one thing that I think just gets them.
Because rainbows, because they have a small throat, they kill themselves by eating. They try and eat. With pellets, you have to be very careful with that. With rainbows in the tank, they'll swoop in through the pellets, and they can't swallow them, and they die. I had that happen to 3 Bows-Bonnie females. They just went in and they grabbed it. So I learned my lesson real quick. I feed the flake on one side. It's like a shiny object. Ooh, squirrel, and they run over there. Then I throw the pellets in for the Corys and the Epistos, because they don't get anything by the time those rainbows go through it. Because I have rainbows and I have Denison barbs in the tank. So those guys just sweep through the food like nobody's business.
Back of animals. Man.
Yeah.
Thinking about getting into rainbows, there's one that I'm interested in. It's the papui from that Aquaria Life has. I don't know. I just really like them. I mean, they're silver and they got a red stripe.
So, they're very pretty fish.
Yeah. So I'm going to get them. But
What's that, Skip? I didn't hear.
The papui.
Okay.
Aquaria Life has. I want to get some of them.
And I gotta ask her how big they get.
Yeah, I do have to ask. I did ask once. No, it's not as big as a Bows-Bonnie. You know how big they get. I think it's just a little bit smaller than them, I believe. I can't.
No. Well,
that's gonna drive me nuts.
Last night in my 200, I was upstairs hanging out with my family because my sister and brother-in-law came over for just like 2 hours. And when I went downstairs, my red devil had destroyed my green spotted Severin. And his eyes all swollen, but it's not popped out and he can still move it. So I'm hoping that when the swelling goes down, it'll go back into place, Pulled a lot of the scales off of one side of his body and tore up his fins. The fins will grow back.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he lives or not.
The idea that the red devil should be.
Well, he's in a tank by himself. I threw him in a 55 that I was preparing to move all my Gadaids in. Well, not all my Gadaids, but one of my colonies of Gadaids. Because they're in a 20 long and I wanted more space.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh. Makes me so mad. I was going to give that red devil to Josh from Metalheads over during Aqua Shell, or not Aqua, Flash.
One. Yes, that's it.
But I didn't want to hurt my back because last time I was carrying around 5-gallon buckets, I hurt my back real bad.
Well, Ed, all you had to do was ask. I could have helped you.
What's that?
All you had to do was let me know, and I could have helped you unload the shit.
Yeah, but I just didn't want to bother people.
Don't worry. Listen, that's why you have friends.
Well, I'm gonna put him in a 5-gallon bucket and take him straight to Indiana and give it to him. It's a beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Beautiful fish.
I thought you said you're going to pan fry him.
I should. I could just pretend like he's a red snapper.
That's it.
He looks like a red snapper.
He's getting close to it. He keeps it up.
Yeah, gum. But honestly though, he's always been the nicer fish in that tank. It's the green spotted Severin that's always nipping at him. and I think he finally had enough,
Could be.
and he just beat the crap out of that red Severn. or that
Usually
green Severn.
Severums are pretty chill for cichlids.
Yeah.
Now we are
Mhm.
talking cichlids here, so they usually
The green
pretty
spotted
chill.
is the most aggressive of the Severns. And
Mhm.
but I'm gonna if it heals up, I'm giving it to Bob because he said he'd take it. So I'm gonna give him the Bob and hiya. And oh wow, ASE, that's awesome. And then just turn that tank into a big old rainbow tank. And I'm gonna grow out some Congos also, some Congo tetras to put with the rainbows.
Oh, Congo tetras are beautiful.
Oh man,
It's a 200 square. You know,
Mhm.
it's a neat tank. But I've got a big
Alshon had a
catfish in there. Sorry.
no. Sorry, I was
What
just
did
gonna say
Alshon
Alshon had a good comment. He talked about Parasiprochromis, the fish that I've got, like Cyprochromis, which is a different type of Tanganyikan. They're a micropredator. He's right. So, just sort of the normal smaller frozen foods, but they take pellets, they take flake, they take all kinds of stuff.
How you doing, buddy?
Sorry, Ed.
ASE is saying, do I know who the Chiefs are going to beat this week? And yes, I do. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm.
No, Kenny doesn't watch.
Well, there's Captain.
There he is.
Oh,
He was sleeping on the couch.
Hmm.
All right, you want to go out?
does he like cats?
Yes. He says they taste like chicken.
Nico is terrified of dogs.
Mm.
He's just sleeping hard right there.
I was gonna say he looks pretty comfortable where he's at.
Yeah, you'd think that one leg hanging off though would lose blood flow or something.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time will be the ASE show on this channel.
Awesome.
So if you would like to watch a bunch of fish heads talk about football, a fish subject comes up once in a while. It always does. Go to this and subscribe.
Thanks, man.
It's been over an hour.
Oh,
Wow, that
gosh.
went fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks, Todd, for coming. Or I mean, TJ, for coming up and hanging out. Oh,
can call
well, your
him
name says
Todd.
Todd there too. So it's
Just
all-
don't call him late for dinner.
There you go. Paul's got it figured out.
Don't call him late for dinner. Call him whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Thanks for the invite, Ed, to your stream, and Skip. Thanks for extending the invite here. This was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. We do it every Thursday.
it's been a long night for him because he also did vibes.
I did do vibes at 8:00.
Yeah, you're gonna be streamed out for about 3 months.
Nah, I enjoy it. I think it's a lot
nice
of fun.
to see you up and doing that.
Yeah,
It is.
this is fun.
Cora Work says you're the new best co-host.
Oh boy, I don't know if I'm the best, but
You need
thank
to
you.
put your trophies behind you.
I'll be done in a second.
We want to
Well,
see all
I
your
wanna thank-
race car trophies.
I
My
wanna-
race trophies.
Yeah, right. Just have it
Yeah.
stacked up behind your head as a backdrop.
Yeah, they're in the other room. I've got them sit on a shelf, so I'd have to figure that situation out.
Oh, you'd be able to do it.
Yeah,
You
I
should
wanna-
list where all your races are so we can come and see them.
I can do that when the season starts back over.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
nice.
awesome. That'd be one of my goals for next year to go to one of your races because I think that'd be cool. And especially if you race in a port. What's your number?
32.
Oh, it's a good goalie number.
Was that your number?
No, that was Curtis Joseph's number.
Oh yeah, who was a
And
St.
he's a
Louis
good
Blue for a long time.
Yeah, but a lot of goalies are 32, so that's a good number. I was in hockey. I was every number under the sun. I never cared what number I was. In football, I was 75.
I picked 32 because that's how old I was when I started racing.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But thank you guys for showing up tonight, Paulie, Ed, and our guest TJ Autocross. We're going on for an hour. Boy, that did get quick. Fine.
Yep.
Thanks to all the lurkers, the people in chat, the mods dropping some links. I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Ed,
Yep.
you got anything?
Nope. Thank you
TJ?
for letting me come up and having fun.
You're welcome. TJ?
No, just thanks everybody for showing up here and supporting Skip on the channel. And thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun.
And Paulie.
And as always, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.